Many of you watching today have been interested in a theater one way or the other. Maybe you were in an elementary school play. Maybe you played a snowman or an elf during a Christmas production. Or maybe you went on to high school to become part of the high school play because, well, there was a nice looking young man there or a nice looking young lady there. And then you got interested in theater and you wanted to do some more. Well, there's a lot of theater available in this country in community amateur theaters. One of them is here in Cranberry Township. It's called the Comtra Theater. It's been here over 30 years. And Cecil Teets is the president of Comtra Theater. Cecil, this is an operation that's been going on a long time. How long have you been involved?
Well, we've been involved ever since it was a dinner theater next door where we set up in a actual circus tent for the summertime shows, and we tear it down every fall. Even during some of those shows, we'd have rainstorms that would come across. People from the audience would actually have to grab the poles of the tent and hold it so it wouldn't blow away. And it was really something that took a lot of energy and was a lot of fun. And it was a great time in the arts and industry of putting on plays here in Cranberry Township.
Well, your mom, I guess, was the one who started all of this. Was she a theater person before she started the theater here?
Yes, she was. She started out way back in her career. Actually, she graduated from Geneva College as a theater major and in education. She went on to do plays and direct shows throughout Western Pennsylvania here. Then she did the East-West Theater, and then Comtra came available with the barn that was a empty lot that she was seen next door, and all of a sudden it came on the market. She said, "This must be a sign. Let's buy this place and turn it into a theater," and here we are today.
Is running a theater today much different than it was 30 years ago when this Comtra Theater started?
Not much different, except you have more people involved, a lot of good community support, and at the beginning there wasn't a whole lot of support for theater because there wasn't many people involved. Now we've got a lot of members here in Western Pennsylvania that come all the way here to Cranberry Township just to perform and do their theater work here at Comtra.
Most of the community theaters around Western Pennsylvania put on 3 or 4 or 5 productions a year. You go much beyond that, don't you?
Yes, we never stop. We go throughout the entire year. We run it for 3 weekend performances for each show, and we never go dark.
That would take a lot of actors, a lot of directors, a lot of people behind the scenes. Can you get that many people around Cranberry?
It sure does take a lot of people, and we have a good supporting group of people that come here. We have over, 285 members that are just on our Facebook pages that support the theater and come from all over, not just Cranberry, but from all areas around.
Most people, Cecil, are interested in little theater because they just like to be on stage, they like to be noticed, or they like being around a theater, even working backstage. Do some have eyes for Broadway or Hollywood?
They sure do. We get a number of students from the local areas that are using this as a stepping stone to get to Broadway theater, and they love that opportunity. Not everybody, though. A lot of people just do it because that is their hobby. They have a great time at it, and they just enjoy doing what they do.
What was the first production here over 30 years ago?
Guys and Dolls. Very first production, and the theater just wasn't even completely finished with construction, but the show must go on, and we did it, and my mom said, the show must go on. Even if we aren't done with the building, we're going to continue, and she did.
Isn't that a pretty ambitious project? Putting on a play is one thing, but putting on a musical?
She was very, very ambitious, and she had a lot on her plate at that time, but she was a very strong woman, and she made it happen. She was very determined in what she was doing, and it happened. She did a great job.
Can you find the talent available to do some of these really great shows, and not only from the acting standpoint, but from the directing standpoint?
Oh yes, we have some great talent in the area. They are very good talent, and they come from all over. We actually have people standing in line wanting to get different parts. But we are always taking in new people to come out and try out for a show.
What's the website here?
It is www.comtratheater.org.
Cecil, thanks for having us out. We want to meet some of the folks behind the scenes and also on stage here at Comtra Theater. Thanks so much.
Well, thank you, Larry, for coming out. Thank you.
One of the actors around here at Comtra Theater is Micah Stanek. And Micah, I know that you're studying musical theater at the high school level. Where's that?
Lincoln Park Performing Arts Charter School in Midland. I studied musical theater for 3 years now, going into my fourth year.
How do you get into that?
Well, you have to audition for one of the main courses. So there's five, I think: literary arts, media, music, musical theater, theater, dance.
Do you get into many performances at high school productions?
I've only done two at Lincoln, but my first show was actually Pippin at Seneca. I just was ensemble back in 2007.
And that's when you got bit by the theater bug?
Yes.
Just all of a sudden?
Yeah, I actually auditioned for it thinking it was about a penguin, so I was wrong.
Now you're at the Comtra Theater. Have you done many productions here?
Yes, about 30.
Like it all right?
I love it. It's a home to me, but I eventually will have to move on, and it's going to be upsetting, but
Good to talk to you.
thanks for having me.
Kira Amerio is from Moon Township. Now you're a dancer.
Yes, I am. I've been dancing since my freshman year, so it's been 3 years, and I can't imagine my life without it.
You've danced in productions here at Comtra. What were they?
I have danced in Grease and in Guys and Dolls, what we just recently did. I was dance captain, and that was my first time ever being it, and it was very, very difficult, but it was definitely a lesson that I will keep with me forever.
What does a dance captain do?
I learned every dance in the show, and then if anyone needs help with it, I will teach it to them and help it so it's perfection by the end.
What is it about your dancing talent that makes you qualified to be a dance captain?
I pick up choreography really fast, and I'm willing to help anyone that needs help with it.
Plan to do this for a career?
I hope so, to keep continuing with it. I'll be going to college in 2 years, so I definitely want to keep dancing once I go to college.
Good to talk to you. Thank you. Good luck.
Thank you.
People in community theater usually do many different things during a production or during many productions. Some are directors, some are actors, some are behind the scenes, some are directing the box office and the business side. Well, Jeannie Donovic here has done all of that. In fact, she does it all the time. She's been involved with this theater for a long time. Jeannie, when did you get started here?
My first show here was 1996.
And what was it?
That was Miracle on 34th Street.
What was your role in that?
Well, I was Mrs. Macy. It was a part written for a male, but Marie Tietz cast me as Mrs. Macy because she liked my audition.
Did you always want to act? Is that something that you've been living with for a long time?
Oh, yes. You can ask my family. But I think my first real role was second grade in a Christmas play. I played an angel, and I was hooked ever since then.
Do you think that that would ever become a full-time career for you?
At one time I did consider it, but I guess the practicality of it took over and I became a teacher instead. I had intended to teach English and be the play sponsor in high school, but my life took a different course.
Is it frustrating for you because you couldn't go all the way to Broadway or Hollywood?
No, because I've had a very wonderful life, and this is my avocation, so I get my theater fix by doing Comtra theater.
You've directed shows here. What would be one of the shows we can talk about today?
Well, my first show that I directed here was, it was called 10 Little Indians, And Then There Were None. And that was one that was a favorite of Marie. So I decided to do that one, and that was getting my feet wet here, and I've been directing and acting and doing other things ever since.
How do you know when you're trying to cast a character that the person that's in front of you does or does not have what you want?
Well, every director has in mind a certain character for the roles. And sometimes that person walks in the door and you know it immediately. Other times you have them go through the audition process and you have them read different scenes, and then your mind starts to decide whether or not that person will fit what you have in mind.
You have to kind of be a psychiatrist or a psychologist to be able to figure out, number one, how to say no to somebody, and number two, to live with that.
That is correct. And we found that when you tell people that they haven't gotten a part, if you do it in a gentle way and a respectful way, they usually come back and audition for something else.
Jeannie, what's the most rewarding part about directing a show here at Comtra?
Probably getting people involved and working with people and getting them to make friendships with each other and just having a good time.
How do you impart to them what you know about the play? Because obviously you've read that play and studied that play long before the actor did.
Well, that comes out in the rehearsal process. We usually do scene by scene, and we talk about it. We talk about the characterizations, and little by little, they become what you had envisioned.
Jeannie, it's good to talk to you. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Kaylee Ruiz has been here for a long time. You're a young person, but you've done about 20 productions here?
That is correct, yeah.
What was your favorite?
I really enjoyed being in Legally Blonde and also All Shook Up. They were a lot of fun.
Did you have some pretty big parts?
I had a lead in All Shook Up. I played Lorraine, who was a girl who lived in the honky tonk. In Legally Blonde, I was one of the featured dancers, which is also a lot of fun. I love to dance.
Having been in so many productions, does that mean that you want to make theater your career?
I don't, but I do want to definitely pursue a minor in theater arts because I love theater. It's my passion, and I don't know what I'd do without it.
Why wouldn't you pick theater as a major?
It's just a hard career to pursue if you don't know the right people, so I'm trying to do something that I think would be more practical.
Will you be auditioning again for something here at Comtra?
Of course, every chance I get.
Good luck to you. Thanks very much.
Thank you so much.
Faith Kranick is a high school student, but just about to go into college at Point Park. What part have you played here at Comtra that was maybe your favorite?
I was Frenchie in a production of Grease here. And that was probably my favorite role because she was very silly and very ditzy, and I got to wear the pink hair. Anyone who's seen Grease knows that she's famous for her beauty school dropout stuff. So that was very, very fun.
How did the director help you establish what you should be in that part?
He was actually a new director, Shane Conrad, so he did a very good job at stepping up and explaining to us how we should approach our parts more as a musical rather than going back to the movie that everyone was so familiar with.
Faith, were you happy with the way you did the part?
Absolutely. It was a wonderful production, and I was very happy with how it came together.
You plan to do many more productions here at Comtra?
As many as I can, but I'm leaving for college, so I'll have to go down there for a year, but maybe when I come back next summer, yeah, I'd like to come back.
Nice to talk to you. Thank you and good luck.
Thank you very much.
Rodney Boyers has been performing here as an actor and working as a director for maybe 6 years at the Comtra Theater. When you first came here, what's the first thing you did?
I actually was in a play. It was a musical, Once Upon a Mattress, and I actually played the wizard.
Was it hard to do that kind of a part? I know it's a difficult play.
Usually musicals or any type play that's in a certain period is always kind of an adjustment to do just because of the time period it's in. And especially playing a wizard, which is kind of a little bit out there, is usually challenging as well. So yes, it was.
Does it take a long time to get to understand the character when you're working along with the director to find out who you're supposed to be?
Usually, sometimes it does. It's almost like stepping into like a new pair of shoes. You kind of have to adjust to them, kind of get in there and kind of fill the character out. Usually, a director will direct you and you'll discuss characterization, but sometimes even I like when directors will give you a chance to kind of figure that role out on your own and make it your own.
Now, you have been an actor or a ham for a long time. When did it all start?
Actually, probably since childhood. I would say probably 5 years old. Once I started school, we had school pageants and school plays, so I've been doing it ever since.
What was your first part?
I actually was a shepherd in one of the Christmas plays, one of the Christmas pageants.
Having being cast for that and doing that part, did that bug really bite?
It did, absolutely. I think I came from a family of performers. My dad was a musician. He was a guitarist in a bluegrass band. My uncles and aunts they all played in church. So I think I had like the performance bug early on because our house was always musical. So.
Does it take that? Does it take a family background in theater or music or art to impart that same feeling to you?
For me, it does. I don't think that always happens. I think sometimes some folks will end up getting an appreciation for theater or performing later on in life, which is great. I just think it really doesn't have a time limit where the acting bug hits you, but when it does, I think you're hooked.
The Comtra Theater puts on many productions a year. What's the favorite production that you've been in?
You know what? I would have to say we actually did a play a couple years back, The Mousetrap, and I played the role of Christopher Wren. I really enjoyed that production.
Why was that so different?
It was a different role. The role was pretty, it was challenging and it was pretty colorful, and the cast just really bonded, and the director really pulled a lot of characterization out of us. So.
When you stepped into the role as a director, was that a difficult transition?
It was, as far as the technical aspect and sort of managing actors, but as far as the piece of a play, it really wasn't, because I think actors make the best directors, because you react on impulse, and I think that really helps being a director.
Rodney, good to talk to you. Thanks so much.
Thank you, Larry.
So we've spent some time at the Comtra Theater here in Cranberry Township. They've done over 500 productions over the last 30 years. They do about 14 plays and musicals a year, and you're all invited to come. The Comtra Theater. I'm Larry Berg. We'll see you next time on Faces and Places.